getting prepared for talking to you, I was thinking, oh, maybe you'll ask me about like films that I liked recently. I
Yeah,
was thinking
yeah.
about Poor Things. For me, that was just I can't fault it. It's just like he's managed to create this like world that's both absurd but completely sincere at the same time. It's like you sit there watching, I can't look away for some reason. It's like bizarre,
Yeah.
grotesque, and funny and beautiful, like everything all at once. He just really thrives in creating manageable discomfort. He builds these worlds where you can't quite tell if you should laugh or you should squirm.
Rage Whale.
Special guest episode.
Our special guest today is the multi-talented Marina, who Kevin has worked with on multiple film sets in the past. She is a focus puller working directly with the director of photography on film sets. She shares with us today how to get into the business, what her struggles and pressures have been, and also the great satisfaction of getting your piece of creativity on the big screen. This was a great conversation with someone very knowledgeable within the industry. I know you're going to enjoy this conversation. Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a special guest, Marina, who I have worked with in the past on a few movies. So I got to know her fairly well for the few random days that I turned up. I was a stills photographer on set, but Marina was part of the real crew. I joined in for like a few days or a week. She was there for months doing whatever film we were doing as well. So welcome, Marina. How are you?
Thank you. Oh, I'm really good. Thank you for having me.
Good, good. I was just trying to think what films that we did together. Because we did the last bus, didn't we? Uh,
Yes. What is his
with
name?
Timothy Spall and everything.
Timothy
Timothy.
Yeah,
Spall. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah. And I think the really fun one we had as well was the one with me, myself, and Di.
Oh gosh, I
Were
mean,
you on that
that was.
one?
Can we swear? By the way, can I swear?
Oh yeah, crack on. Yeah.
It was such a
Yeah, yeah.
clusterfuck that one was.
It's awesome.
See, that's the interesting thing. Like as I said, I pop in for a few days and just see little bits. But you see the whole I speak to Trish afterwards, who is one of the producers, and she tells me about all the insane stuff that I didn't see at all that day. I was like, "This is a well-oiled machine." Then I meet Trish afterwards for a drink, and she went, "Are you kidding me? Nothing went right. We didn't do. We went to do 5 scenes. We did half a scene today." So, oh,
Yeah, I mean, that's just
and
yeah, that's part of being like, working in film. I think everybody like if people who are not involved think like, oh, it's so glamorous you work in film. Well, no, actually not at all.
well, that's the interesting things we want to ask you about because that's like interesting for us hearing the behind the scenes stuff as well. So you're a focus puller, aren't you? That's your main role
Yes,
on. Can you explain to us what a focus puller is and does, and because it's very important.
it is very important. I'm a very important person actually.
Yeah.
I think
um, so I think, I mean, a lot of people think that the focus puller just twists the knob. Pardon the pun, but like, and to be fair, that's not entirely wrong. But
Yeah.
it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit like saying, oh, a pilot just like steers the plane, or like the chef just uses a pan. So my I'm basically a lead technician for the camera department. So um, I make sure, like, I run a team of three, and I make sure that whatever the DOP, director of photography's vision is, I can recreate it technically. So the director of photography would be working a lot like with lighting department and camera department. So lighting is there to light it so it looks nice. I'm there to make sure that like everything is built properly for whatever setup is needed. And on top of that as well, like I make sure that everything's sharp.
nice.
But that's
Which,
But
you do other
yeah,
things as
sorry,
well,
go
like all the clever techniques that kind of make things go in and out of focus. That's
yeah.
that's the sort of route one thought process, but you can flip the focus to kind of change the perspective of the audience to flip it on a different character or bring
yes.
it back.
I mean,
Or reveal.
I love talking about my job, so I might start, and you might just have to shut me up because I just really like what I do. So I get
That's
off on
excellent.
tangent. But I think what I it's a funny thing about my job is like being a focus puller is that if you do your job perfectly, no one should really know that you even exist. There's this weird something weirdly poetic about knowing that the audience will never notice your work because if they do, it means that you fucked up. But I don't know. Just so yeah, basically, I control focus wirelessly, and this is one of my favorite parts about this job because it's me and the operator. Well, like we just need to find this like zen, this rhythm together, where the operator would be moving the camera, and I would be making sure that whatever that they're pointing at is sharp. But it's just once you find this balance between you and the operator, it's just this like quiet teamwork that nobody sees but everybody can feel. And like for me, or like for a focus pull, like if you pull focus well, it's like it feels like dancing, like you're leading and you're following at the same time. It's great.
Strictly Come Dancing, but on a film set with the ability to
Exactly,
work in tandem with
exactly.
each other. It's I was saying as well, what I love, I think it adds such a kind of high production value to movies when you pull focus to different characters, or say there's like a weapon in the background, and then the
Hmm.
character says something, and then you do the cool little moment where like what Kev was saying, where it feels like it almost zooms in, but that's because you're pulling to the thing on the table, and there's like the
Yeah,
bloody
yeah, yeah,
knife. You're like, oh, they're the person. So
yeah,
as
yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
audience, when you do that moment, we get that dun dun dun. You give
Yeah,
us the
yeah,
dun
yeah.
dun dun because of what you do as a job.
It's
Like,
me. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
cool,
No,
man.
I love it. It's like I think uh, as much as it is a very technical job, um, for me, it's also I love it because it's almost emotional. Like I'm constantly having to tune into um, people, if anything, like their rhythm, their energy, their movements, and like it's like when you nail that thing, just like oh, dun dun dun, pull to the gun, come back there. It's like for me, it's a feeling like oh, I've just caught a lighting in a bottle. It's like it makes me so
It must be
happy.
so many shots that you're really proud of.
Um, that I'm really proud of.
Not specifically you need to mention, but there just must be like you've got ownership over certain shots. Like there's so many simple parts of a film where it's very basic, but you can say, "I created that emotional narrative that someone just
Hmm.
pointed the camera at, but you're the one that made the connection to the audience."
It's
Um.
like the reveal, isn't it?
It's massively rewarding. I sometimes it's very straightforward for me. You just kind of like I've been told what to do. Or, pull there, do this. But there are also times when if you manage to like create a good relationship with the director, for example, because at the end of the day, it's their call. They would then like allow you to kind of do your own thing. And I did this on Bridgerton with. Oh, actually, do you remember Amy? She was a scriptie on Me, Myself, and I.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah.
So she's been directing Bridgerton for 2 seasons now.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we've been working with her on second unit, and basically, like me and her, we've just kind of became like really close pals on Me, Myself, and I. And then on Bridgerton, what I loved the
Yeah.
most, she was like, "Marina, you just do your thing. You just do your thing," and like it's so rewarding that like the director would trust me to just kind of find focus.
That's
But then
huge, isn't it?
also, pardon?
That's huge, isn't it? To get that
Yeah.
amount of
Yeah,
trust from the
no.
director. Yeah.
Mm. So yeah, it's really nice.
Sorry to interrupt the show. Just a reminder to say we love and appreciate you all for listening to the podcast, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, follow, as this really helps us continue to progress and improve the content and keeps us making these fun episodes for you guys. Oh, we're also on these things called Instagram and TikTok. You can follow us there too, as we share short, funny reels on the reg that you can share with friends if you like. Now, back to the mayhem.
And what is it you mainly do? Do you mainly do films, or are you on a lot of TV, or what's your sort of main actual role? Like what sort of stuff do you do the most of at the moment?
Well, I've done season 3 and 4 of Bridgerton, which kind of took over most of my life for the past couple of years, which was great, but also just like a weird experience in itself. Because so we were part of the second unit, and we were just like a standalone unit where 60% of the time we just be off doing our own thing, which was just like we were shooting really expensive, very elaborate, and like well rehearsed filler. So it would just be like, welcome to Bridgerton House. And it's like 10 seconds, but it's 10 seconds of like this absolutely like full on rehearsed of like, okay, the camera goes there, and then there's a boat, and there's another boat, and there's a carriage and stuff. So it was great. But then the other 40% of the time, we would then join main unit as third camera. And that would be like a completely different energy. Like it would either be we're just on standby for hours and hours and hours, like picking our noses. And then suddenly you are thrown in with no warning, just like on the longest lens imaginable, no rehearsal, just to be told like, just fish for some moments, just fish for some moments. And like my operator is usually fine because they're pointing, but for me it's like okay then, yeah, no worries, no worries, I don't know what's going on. We're on this really long lens. And the operator would be like, you're good. I'm like, I mean, well, define good.
Do you ever do the felt tip trick that I've seen people do, or the Tipex, where they put it, like when it's almost like when you're trying to break into a vault. Not that I've done that before, but when you're turning and trying to get it spot on to sharpen the image, they have it where there's like a little bit of like Tipex or a bit of pen, so they know that, because like the camera guy's coming in here, and then you're next to them, and then you're having to do that bit as they get to that certain point. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
sometimes someone's counting down like 5, 4, 3, 2.
Mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm.
there's all these different things like you're saying going on. But have you used like little pens or like little Tipex just to help you find where, or how
Yeah,
do you
well,
find the
yeah,
moments?
a lot of the times, like if you're like if you get a rehearsal, then obviously then I can measure, and then you can rehearse the shot and the pacing, and then you can use you can mark it with a pen, or you can like do it within the handset, so it just gives you like a little vibration between the points, so you know when to stop. But for example, on the stuff like Bridgerton, where you're like put a long zoom on and just hope for the best, then there's no time for to get marks or to measure anything. So it's more just like intuition and muscle memory, I think, which is I mean, it's. I think I'm a bit of like a pressure junkie, really. I'm probably a bit of a masochist because I really, really enjoy pressure like this, because it's like either nail it or you don't, and then you just die inside because it's your
Wow.
fault, because you've ruined the shot.
I've got a bit of a weird question for you. So say like on your day off, do you ever like focus pull onto like bits of fruit or random vegetables in the house just to kind of practice?
No, I just sleep.
I just thought, like, just so you can just practice getting really good at like doing
I thought you just meant rubbing random fruit. You mean
no, not robbing random fruit. That's just a weird part-time.
I've got a weird question.
No,
Do
I
you
don't
just
do
go
that.
around rubbing
I
your
shouldn't do
apples?
I love polishing my butternut squash and my apples. No, I meant if you just, she's got all the equipment at home and she just practices making a tomato look sharp.
Yeah.
I mean, no, no, I don't. But like, I have. So
I'm disappointed
it's.
now. No, I'm
She's
only
got
kidding.
plenty of
I'm
You're
practice.
joking.
disappointed. I
She's
was
always
just about to tell
working.
you about the claw.
Okay,
Do you want to hear
so,
about the
so
claw?
The
the
claw.
claw.
Yeah.
Yeah, the claw. Yeah.
Wow, the claw.
So I mean, just I've been doing that for 10 years now, and it is just a lot of it is muscle memory and stuff. But like on big shots like this, where there's just like no preparation, no rehearsal, you just kind of my one of my operators, Max. Oh, you know Max as well. Do you remember Max
Oh yes, yeah,
Williams?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Max Williams is always like, Maria, just use the force. Just use the force. And I think psychosomatically, he just he just programmed me into like, I'm using the force, okay. And then the claw comes in. So that's, I'm right handed. That's how I hold it. But it's just, the claw is just like, we mustn't stop. And we just need to make it perfect. And when the claw comes in, I almost like, I very rarely, well, I very rarely fuck up.
That's what. So you're like a Jedi meets Jim Carrey and Liar Liar, essentially.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's awesome. There you go. So any
See,
focus people out there that want to be focus pullers, that's what you got to work on, guys.
see,
Well, yeah.
I think the biggest thing I remember from again, I wasn't on the sets very long, but
Mhm.
seeing you guys work behind the scenes, all the crew members, and I know everyone always says it, but it sometimes sounds like platitudes. But when you're actually on set, and your first thing, especially me as a photographer shooting the action, I'm not shooting the
Yeah.
crew, although I did do some behind the scenes stuff. It's you realize how, no offense to actors, how boring they are after 10 minutes of going, oh, look at them. Then all of a sudden, all the madness is usually coming from, to be honest, you. As soon as it was cut, you were usually the loudest or craziest person on the set. But you, like, I remember, like, especially when we're in Scotland, you and the lighting guys and the sound guys, you seem like the crew that you wanted to hang out with. They were the fun group. Like, you guys must get up to some crazy stuff and interesting things because you, like you say as well on set, you're bored half the time as well because once your shot's done, it's an hour to set up again, so you're just messing around.
Mhm.
Like, what's some of your fun stuff that you've experienced on set?
Um, I mean, to be fair, it's like for me, if it depends on the project. So if it's a commercial, then yeah, it's kind of a lot of the times, even for me, it's just it gets boring because you wait around for ages and then it's just something simple. But on features and on drama, I especially if there's just one camera team, I very rarely have time to sort of to just to be bored really, unless there's something, I don't know, there's something wrong that's not my department's fault, or if we're waiting on lighting. But normally, I don't really have time to like to stop and to just like, I don't know, to be bored, or
Yeah,
even if that moment happens, I don't like being bored on set. So then I'll find
Yeah.
things to do. But
Just there
yeah,
with a
just
fidget spinner, just like in the
pardon.
corner. You're just there with a
Well,
fidget spinner,
I've got my
just
knob.
waiting.
oh, Drew, actually, I need to find a photo. I've got it somewhere. One of the scenes we did, like when we did the shoot in Scotland with Timothy Spall, there was
Yeah,
so many different locations. Like there was the house that we shot, and it was freezing, and it was really late night
yeah.
shoots. And then there was in the middle of nowhere with the mountains, which was the
Oh,
wettest and
it
the
was
coldest I've ever been.
horrendous.
It was bad, wasn't it?
Is that
But
what
then,
you got trench foot? Is that what you were saying?
yeah, I got
Kevin
trench
was
foot.
trench
Yeah,
foot.
not
Trench
literally, but it was the
close to.
wrinkliest my foot's ever been.
Wow.
Just submerged in water for about 4 hours. But I remember the scene we did in Glasgow itself when it was in the street scene. We were just filming Timothy Spall just walking along a brick wall,
Yeah, yeah,
and you turned up with a tail and a unicorn helmet on. Just
yeah. I had a
but
unicorn
it
horn.
wasn't a
Yeah.
thing. It was just, oh, there's Marina. That's just Marina. It wasn't like a thing.
Wow. What's the
Was
She
it
just
not
dresses like a
Halloween?
nutcase.
Well, I
No.
do dress like a nutcase, but I think it was Halloween.
And your leggings were different. I remember the like cat leggings, but they're
cat
like
Yeah,
leggings and a
psychedelic
unicorn?
cats.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
like, this is kind of my uniform. I'm, I'm older now, so I've just kind of, this is, I'm a bit over that. But when I started in the camera department, especially like the time between like trainee and loading, you kind of, you don't really like, you don't have a uniform, but people tend to, especially like within the technical departments, you're supposed to wear something like black or dark, right? I don't do that. so I was like, well,
So you
I
don't
want to be
catch the
comfy.
actor's
You wear a
eyeline. You
cat
don't
onesie.
fade into the background. Marina definitely did not.
I don't want to fade into the background. What are you on about? But anyway,
I
I was
know.
like, I want to be comfy, but I just don't want to like lose my sense of like crazy self. So I decided that like my thing would be, I could still wear like a dark top, but I would have crazy leggings. And then it just went like, I ended up owning like 60, 70 pairs. So people started calling me crazy legs.
That's a cool nickname, though. That is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that I just yeah that shoot was a really fun time. That was a really good one. Because again, I'd worked with you a few times, but that's probably when I first got to know you properly because I didn't get a chance to speak to people
Yeah.
much and stuff like that. But everyone on the team they're always good, and like Trish and Sasha, who are the producers of the ones
Yeah.
that I've been on, they keep the same crews, don't they? Or you guys work together usually repetitively because it's a good group of people and everyone knows their job. And like you're saying with the focus pulling, you and Max, like you've got a good connection. So why would you split that up? So do you
Yeah.
work with the same people all the time?
Well, me and Max actually, like, since I can't remember what was. Oh no, Max wasn't on the last bus, but like for me, myself, and I, me and Max just kind of became like really tight, and then like well, since then we're now also just really close friends, and so the last couple of years, he was also with. Well, he took me on Bridgerton, so basically Amy brought him on as a DOP for the second unit, and then he brought me with him. So, well, we're not working with Sasha and Trish, but me and Max are like really tight, which is great.
Can I
Brilliant.
ask how do you get into focus pulling though? Because I know there's so many different elements in the filmmaking process. Do you have like a focus pulling reel? Like have some cinematographers have a reel. Like how does one get into that actual kind of role? Because the skill is so specific.
Yeah.
Like how
I mean, I think, well, first of all, it's I realize that it's probably not a job for that everyone is striving to like to aim for, especially like, oh, I'm just going to be like a career focus puller, which is what I decided to do, and which what I really really like. But I mean, you just
Mhm.
it's there's just a hierarchy within the camera department. You start traineeing, and then the sort of the bridge between traineeing and loading is quite simple because you as a trainee you're kind of doing similar things as a loader would do, so you can just kind of watch, and then the transition should be quite easy. But then the leap between loading and focus pulling is you really need to commit, because like, yeah, you can watch what the focus puller is doing, but just by watching you won't be able to get any experience. You really need to like practice and be within that environment. So like if you really want to do that, you just end up having to still being a loader, but then doing a lot of like unpaid work, or short films and stuff, just to kind of build your own confidence, really, and figuring out whether it's something that you really want to do. And then once you feel like you've done enough practicing, then it's yeah, the scariest bit is like, okay, well, I'm just going to commit to being a focus puller now. And the first
Yeah.
project is just horrendous. You die a little bit inside, but I think that's probably the time when you realize whether it's for you or not for you. And my first step up was actually when I met you on Me, Myself and I, which was I was shitting myself because Max also chose a set of lenses. He was so excited about Marina. There are only 3 sets of these lenses in the world. You know, I'm like, okay, oh, this is great. This is great. They're anamorphics, and they were made initially like in the 1920s for for the westerns and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
They were awful. They were horrible
He had that
because
massive camera, didn't he? Didn't he have a specific big lens or a big camera at one point that he brought out on the beach?
no, but it was just the lenses themselves. Like they each like they're
Okay.
all primes, but they all look like zooms. So they were really heavy. Like
Yeah.
every time I changed the lens, I almost like it's a re-rig. And then there were anamorphics, which the focus travels differently. And it was like after this, it was just like I was baptized with fire. I'm like nothing scares me anymore. This is great.
Do, do you have favorite films of yours that have some amazing focus pulling in that we could recommend to people listening to this episode for a perfect example of how good some of the focus pulling, whether it's yours or whether it's movies you've seen? Because I was thinking of maybe the Batman, the latest Batman with Robert Pattinson.
I've not
That's got
watched it yet.
okay, okay. But do you know any movies where you've watched and gone, oh, woo, that is one hell of a focus pull?
Do you know what? Um, I don't think I have an answer for you now. I think it's just working working in film has to begin with has really ruined watching and enjoying films for me to begin with
I can
because
imagine.
I was just so fixated on like, oh, how did they do it? Oh, like, oh, this is wrong. And then you're suddenly like, well, what's going on? Actually, I've stopped watching the film. Um, I
I think, yeah, you're right, because when you
So the
see
magic,
behind the curtain,
yeah,
it's very
how the
difficult.
magic trick's done, right?
Yeah,
Almost
even
just
yeah,
for an analogy.
yeah, because Drew's
but
been on sets as well, and we've done a little bit, but not loads. But even seeing a little bit, every time you watch a film, you notice where film locations are or how
yeah,
badly they've done certain things. That's why when a good film's really good and you get lost in it, that's the
100%.
trick, isn't it?
yeah,
To not notice the things.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Have you watched actually, well, you asked me about focus pulls, but I don't think I ever really if I want to watch a film for, just pleasure,
Yeah.
focus is what like unless something's out of focus, I'm like but normally I don't pay attention to that because I mean for me it's working in film. I mean, I am in my dream job. It's really tiring, but it's great because um, it's like this really, if done right, and if everybody knows how to do their job properly, and also there's communication and understanding, then every department just needs to come in, and it's just like this really well-oiled machine where every cog has got a very specific job, like no matter how big or small it is. And if every cog is working in unison, it's going to be amazing. If one little cog goes ha ha ha, suddenly we're fucked. So I think it's just do you like Yorgos Lanthimos?
We were just talking about him.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh
we
really?
just had
Yeah.
mixed opinions, but still in a good way. What's your
Yeah,
thoughts? What?
I was just thinking, well, I was getting prepared for talking to you. I was thinking, oh, maybe you'll ask me about like films that I liked recently. And
Yes,
I
yeah,
was thinking
yeah.
about Poor Things. For me, that was just, I can't fault it. It's just like he's managed to create this like world that's both absurd but completely sincere at the same time. It's like you sit there watching, like thinking, this is mad, but like I can't look away for some reason. It's like bizarre,
Yeah.
grotesque, and funny and beautiful, like everything all at once. And I think he just really thrives in creating manageable discomfort. I think like he builds these worlds where you can't quite tell if you should laugh or you should squirm.
Yeah, I
That's
was
spot
so
on.
surprised how good Poor Things was. Like you say, it's visually like there's not really a film that's been that visually impressive for a long
Yeah,
time. And
yeah,
luckily,
yeah,
the story and the acting and the comedic and the horror and the whimsical all kind of make sense in that pretend world.
totally.
But
Yeah,
it
I
could easily be
also,
very jarring. But
sorry, say
it
again.
works. It could be very jarring for the wrong person. Like it could make no sense and be really too weird for a lot of people. But I think they would be in the minority because I think most people would say that's pretty much a masterpiece, probably his best film, I'd say.
Oh,
Um,
totally. I absolutely, I agree. And also, it's just so from the technical point of view, actually, Poor Things was just a feast for me because Robbie Ryan shot it, and like the camera language mirrored Bella's transformation so perfectly. So, like in the beginning, the frames feel like really claustrophobic and distorted, like she's trapped inside a body that she doesn't quite understand. And as she grows, like the camera opens up the world that she's experiencing, like the visuals become more expansive, like she's becoming more confident. And like what I love is that it didn't present growth as this like polished feminist triumph. It was like still really chaotic and raw and sometimes really uncomfortable, but like it I think it's just a paint like with Bella's transformation, it was just it painted a perfect picture of exactly what real freedom and liberation should look like.
yeah,
That's it.
and I think what you're saying as well there is really amazing because that puts into perspective your partly your job as well is that the camera work is a language and it's a feeling. Although you could go back and watch, you could watch Poor Things on a oneer and just go, "That was amazing." You go back and then you notice things, but in the first time, that claustrophobia, you're not thinking, "Oh, this is claustrophobic." You're just feeling it, and
You're
then
just
you feel
feeling it, yeah.
either
This is
later.
like this is yeah. I absolutely just I absolutely agree with you that like cinematic language is another language that some people like that you have to learn throughout your life. Like if you're eager, but yeah, just being able to create feeling without the audience being aware of it just through visuals and sound and lighting. I feel it's just it's a wonderful um, it's a wonderful medium.
I was going to say there was I watched this breakdown of Training Day, which is obviously a complete contrast to Poor Things.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
were talking about how it creates like feelings, emotions, and kind of symbolism and stuff like that through the way that the camera tells the story. In Training Day, there's a moment where Denzel Washington, Alfonso's character, drops him off at this kind of gangster's house,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's playing poker at the table with those guys. But the
Mm-hmm.
way the camera shoots through the two people, it looks like Ethan Hawke's character. I can't remember his name now, but
Mm-hmm.
he's trapped. Hoyt, he's stuck at the table,
In
but he looks
between them.
trapped because they're shooting through the two other people there that's dirtying the frame. You feel like you're stuck at
You
the
just
table,
feeling like really, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then so you've got that element. But then when they're shooting, I can't remember the other character, but there's a character that's kind of doing an interrogation essentially, and they start off on a kind of mid shot on the two of them,
Yeah.
and as the interrogation gets more intense, they're slowly panning in or zooming in, and you start to really see like more details on their faces, the intensity of the things that they're asking each other,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so powerful. And then there's a bit where they shoot from above, and the guy that I kind of really want to send you this breakdown actually because I think you'd absolutely love it.
Please
They
do,
were
yeah,
saying
yeah.
they were saying that you're almost seeing it from God's point of view, that you think the character is now in real trouble now when they're like, this is it, we're gonna end him, we're gonna take him to the bath and
Yeah.
finish him. He's getting pulled down the corridor, and they said then they shot it like a horror film. So then they went low down So now these characters are higher than him for the rest of the film. Well, for the rest of that scene. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
when he's in the bath, the way that they shoot from above, so it's all about their perspective, and now the protagonist character is now underneath. So just the idea of where you place the camera
Mm-hmm.
creates an emotion for us as an audience,
Exactly.
subliminally. And that is the magic of cinema, that we
In
don't
it.
even realize what we're feeling based on the incredible skill and technical, design of the crew and how they've decided to orchestrate this narrative for us. That's why I love
Exactly.
movies.
It's magic. It's magic.
It really is. I love them. I love movies. I'll send you that link.
Me too. Yes,
I
please.
will.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's the weird thing as well. When you're on a film set, even though you're looking through the lens and doing the focus pulling and things like that, when you look around, a lot of the stuff doesn't feel that special. It's just a man in a street. It's just something boring. It's just a
Yeah.
woman dancing, but with a guy over there in a club or whatever. It doesn't, like what you're seeing on the screen. It's like as a photographer, like you can take something boring and make it quite interesting when you edit it
Yeah.
or at the right angle or something like that. So it, like you say, it is kind of magic what you can do, and all these subtle things that can push the narrative and an emotion, and that's what makes the difference between an average film and a great film, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree absolutely.
And I was going to say, also on post production, to go a little further with it as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
when you're making those beautiful shots and throwing focus and pulling focus, then once the grading team gets involved and it starts to add all these different colors and kind of nuances or moods to the, either you
Mm-hmm.
take away, are you adding colors, are you creating light? Like, it's just, again, it is almost like a painting that's moving.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a cross between a flicker book and a painting. That is like, because some movies, if you pause it, you're like, that is gorgeous. If that was a
In it.
still
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that was on my wall, that is just beautiful. It's like art you can just drink up for 2 hours. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. And like you said, it doesn't stop. Like it continues, the magic continues in post-production as well. And, not only you can just, it's moving visuals, and like if visuals marry perfectly with sound and with actors' performances, obviously, and with lighting, then you add color, and then
Yeah.
you can tell a story with color as well, so much, just like the warmer colors, like subliminally, or like something blue or something green, we're sad, something warmer, some oranges and yellows make us feel like happier and stuff. So it's just, contrast. Well, sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but I'm just really
No, I
excited
love it.
now.
I love it.
No,
This
no.
is,
Right.
yeah. I love
That's the good
geeking out
thing.
on all
Like
that
we can
stuff.
tell that you're clearly passionate about it, and so are we as well. But I think that
Yeah.
that shows in your work and everything, that in your work ethic. Would you say there's something when you started doing this job and you started being like a crew member and part of the bigger machine, as you put it? Is there anything that you'd say is like the thing that you found most surprising? Like, oh, I didn't know that happened, or I didn't realize that was as important as it was. Like just the sound guy, for instance. You don't think of certain people as important as other people. You think there's a hierarchy, but there shouldn't be. They're all integral. But what was the most interesting thing you found when you started doing this job?
um do you know what, I mean, like when I started, the, a lot of things have changed since I joined. I started 10 years ago. It was very different. There were very few women in technical roles at all. So like when I started, I would always almost be like the only girl on the crew. And um, the way I was trained, um, I mean, we're not doing things like this because it's sometimes can be called like bullying. But I was trained by sort of like old boys who, I think okay, let me start again. I think hierarchy needs to exist in my department, at least, but um when I started as a trainee, I remember like the amount of times I would go and cry in the toilet would just be like a daily occasion because um,
It's
I
stressful.
mean,
Tough.
it is really
Pressure.
stressful, and it's new, and like I went to uni and I thought I knew everything, right? I was just like, oh yeah, I've used the camera, I've been on set on student films, and then you like it's just you should just forget everything that they've taught you. Well, not everything, but it's just once you're on set for the first time, green but keen, it's so overwhelming, and because you just need to be quick, 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 and everybody's got their job, and you can't just like sit and do nothing. Like if you haven't, I don't know, if you haven't brought me the lens quick enough, then we can't shoot. You know what I mean? So and um, I think
Because
I
everyone's waiting on another department to do something,
yeah,
aren't they?
yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah,
always someone waiting
exactly.
on someone
But like
else.
within the department, I think when I started, it was a lot of tough love, and I was almost like I said, I was almost always the only girl, and it was just tough love. And if I didn't like, there was a lot of you know explanation. Oh, you didn't do this right. Like that's how you do it. So very little praise, but a lot of stick. But
Yeah,
if anything, I think what I've while I'm still here, 10 years later, is um, it taught me the work ethic that's really important. Just we're
yeah,
like, we act like we're saving lives, but we don't. But the intensity is the same. And
yeah.
I
You
think,
can liken it to an operating theatre, couldn't you? Because it is
yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah, exactly. But it's just, I think people, like when people want to go into film, especially like into a technical role, a lot of the times I think people think, oh, it's going to be quite easy and like and relaxed, or it's just this glamorized world of like, oh, Hollywood or whatever. No, it's actually really, really stressful. Really stressful, and you have to have really thick skin in order to like, well, to even want to continue like being there, but also to survive and to thrive. And yeah, I don't think it's for everyone, and you do have to be like really, I think, thick-skinned in order
mm.
to like not only survive in it but like thrive and enjoy it at the same time. But I forgot what your
Would you?
question was. Sorry.
What have you learned from that? Like when you take on like new people, or you help with other people, or train
Yeah.
other people, are you tough love? Maybe nicer than
Hmm.
you had it originally, but or are you much more coaching? Like how
Do
do
you
you
know
feel it
what?
should be?
It's really funny. So like I'm originally I'm Eastern European, so and it's just in my genes that and it took me years to sort of work on um myself on like we just Eastern European people, we just kind of when we talk it sounds like we're having an argument, but we're not. We're
It's more
just like
passionate. You're just
small talk
passionate.
just doesn't exist. It's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
I'm just quite like I'm genetically quite blunt anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot of the times, I think it can come across as maybe rude or obnoxious. So I've tried as much as I could to turn it down so it doesn't come across as like I'm being mean to people, because I'm not. I'm actually a nice person. But what I think now that I'm kind of at the top, like in charge of the department, when I get there are a lot of the times when I would just be given a training that I can't choose, for example. And I mean, what I love, and I started like this as well, green but keen. Like you come in, it's so stressful. It's so stressful, and you're scared, and you're worried that you're doing something wrong, and you don't want to fuck up, but you fuck up. So like I always when I get a trainee that I didn't pick at prep, I would always just say, "Look, this is how we work. Just we like. I don't like when when the production are waiting on camera, we always just need to be like ahead of time. If you're on time, you're late. And I kind of said like it's going to be intense, but I have I have a rule of three strikes basically. If there's a person who comes in who's green, you know, I would make sure that I explain what their responsibilities would be, um, and they're not very many to begin with
Yeah.
anyway. And then I just kind of observe if they're not kind of doing what they're supposed to do. I'll explain again, but maybe then I'll tell them, do you want to write it down then? And if it continually, like, it's very easy to see when a person wants to be there and when a
Mm.
person doesn't want to be there. And it really upsets me when sometimes I see trainees, who come in and it just doesn't look like I keep questioning myself, why are you here? Because you just don't seem like you're that interested, if you've got nothing to like, you're here as a trainee, you're here to learn, and you know
But yeah, you need to
it's
see that motivation. Otherwise,
yeah.
yeah, they're not going to survive if they actually get an employment, are they?
Well, they're not going to survive, but also it might sound harsh, but um getting your foot in the door is really not that easy, if because sadly there's a lot of nepotism in this industry. So,
Yeah.
being able to actually get your foot in the door and then like stick around, you need to graft. You really, really need to graft. You need to because, you know, the way you get jobs is people remember you and then they call you back. It's, freelance world.
Well,
So
that's it. It's one of these jobs that it's like, although yours is a technical job, it's still in the creative sphere
yeah,
where you don't always need a good CV. You need to know the right people in the sense of be good at your job and have someone else go, oh, they're good at their job. There you get a job. There could be someone with a better CV or a better credential than you, but that person says, this person's a hard worker and can do the job, employ them.
yeah,
And that's how getting the good side
yeah,
of producers and things like that will get you a long way, I think.
yeah, exactly. You have to be able to just because I mean, especially on longer jobs, it's like it can be so intense. It's like you're going to war, and then whoever like your crew, it's just like you're surviving together as like one big family, and
Yeah.
like you need to be able to like get on. You need to be able to work well as a team. You need to be able to preempt each other because otherwise it's just all going to go to shit, and it's not easy. So like a human factor is definitely out there,
What
regardless
is,
of like how technically apt you can be.
exactly? I mean, what's the biggest shit show you've seen? Because, like you said, there's a lot of things that don't go to plan. What's the biggest thing
Oh,
where you've just gone,
Obviously,
oh,
you
for
don't have to
God's
say the
sake?
name. You don't have to say the name of the
Oh yeah,
show
don't
or
tell
the
us the
film.
name if it's
I
You could
don't.
just
Well,
give
I
us
don't
the
think it's
scenario
fair
or the
actually. Like I've worked on quite a few shit shows.
yeah. More the situation, not the film or the production or the people involved. No One Lost Bus, there was a few. I remember. Uh,
Yeah, there's been a few. Do you know what? It's just like, do you mind if I don't answer this question because I don't
oh, of
like.
course, of
Yeah,
course.
I
Yeah, I
don't
don't want
yeah.
like.
to
I
put you in
don't
the
feel
shit.
like it's something that it like that needs attention. Like things
Yeah.
can go wrong, but I think maybe we
Oh,
should just pray
yeah,
that
it
things
wasn't
go
to
right.
put blame on an individual. Like on the last bus, like Trish told me about the council changed their mind on a filming location, so
Yeah,
it was no one's fault. But in the last, then I didn't see Trish for an entire day because she spent an entire day arguing on the phone, getting permits and permissions to use a different road to film on,
yeah,
which is more complex than I would ever have imagined. And from the actors and the filming, I don't think anyone noticed. It was just, oh, new call sheet, locations changed around the corner.
yeah,
No big deal. Everyone went, all right, cut, fine. But it was a whole day of a calamity.
Yeah. It was
yeah,
like we were saying about the Swan. The Swan effect is like the director and the producers have to be the top part, but like there's so much stuff going on under the surface that they don't want crew and the artists and the extras and the actors and everyone else to know about. Well, actually, a question I was going to say then, Marina, when you were saying that when you joined, it was kind of tough love and there wasn't as many women in the industry.
Yeah.
Did that change as more women were entered into that industry? So maybe if you're working with female cinematographers or more female producers and stuff, did that kind of have a bit more kind of levity once there was more women involved? Like, did that change the dynamics?
I think it's like I'm definitely see. I mean, I think there's still a long way to go, but in comparison to how few women there were, like in technical departments when I started, there's definitely like I'm just it makes me feel really proud that women are that there is just no what's the word well, times have changed. You can tell that times have changed where, like a woman in a technical role is not just being seen as like, oh, how did you get here? Is it just because, you're pretty or whatever? Or,
Mm.
just times are changing, which is nice.
Someone's
Um,
or
yeah, like I think people like we're just being seen as crew members. And, if you're in this role, you're probably there for a reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Because like
drafted to get there. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I was I was just going to say from my own personal experience, when I've been involved in short films, because I've probably done more short films than I have done any kind of like features or TV or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's been more women involved, it has ran so much smoother.
Smoother.
Like like women ads, like women producers, like location, like women location scouts. Like, it's just been absolutely incredible. And I feel also there's a bit of nurturing which is probably needed sometimes, because
That's right. Oh,
uh,
that's right. Like, actually, that's a really good point. Yes.
which is nice, because with some of the crazy stuff going on behind the scenes, or some of the things that we're trying to do, or like stuff to do with continuity as well. And like one of the ads was really sweet, and she helped me with a lot of things that I was trying to juggle, because we didn't have
Yeah.
certain teams involved. So she was trying to help me with some kind of special effects stuff for my finger, and she was going, oh, don't forget you need the plaster on that bit. And she was just so on it, remembering all the continuity of everything we needed. And yeah, it just had such. And I remember the director Rowan was saying that he particularly wanted a very female-led crew, because he's like, you ladies get shit done. Like,
We do.
any time for faff. Oh, and it was amazing, because she said, listen, you've got 1 hour in this location, you've got 4 shots, which are the most important ones, because
Let's
you were
start with
not
it.
getting 4 of these. And he was like, and she was like, I think narratively this would be helpful. And I was like, this girl's amazing. Like, she's fucking amazing. So he was like, the reason he has a film is because of her. So it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just
It does
incredible.
bring a cut. Like, I don't work in film myself, but in my office, for instance, I work from home mainly. But when I'm in the office, there's me and one other bloke and 8 women, I think it is. So, and for the last 15 years, I've always worked mainly with women. I've never had a majority male in my workplace,
Yeah.
which it was an industry in property that was dominated by men. And by that
Uh-huh.
2012, I started when there was only one woman, and it was the manager. And then she started employing women, and then I started when it was like there was like 20 men and one woman. And within 2 years, it flipped the other way, and it was
Yeah.
better, because it was less crude banter, inappropriate banter, and it was still funny and silly and stupid and good fun, but it just became better, and you could be yourself a bit more, rather than
Yeah.
men try to compete with each other when there's
Yeah,
two
yeah,
men. Yeah,
Lads on tour.
I hate
Yeah.
that. But it still became madness, but with a completely different atmosphere.
And it's a successful business. Do you know what I mean? It's still running.
Yeah.
I think when women are involved,
Exactly.
there's longevity. Do you know what I mean? When women get involved, there's longevity. Whereas when men are like, oh, we'll see what happens. Oh, dear, we've had a bit of a big zero there. Like, oh, great. What have you done, mate? That's good business.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
You
we'll
said
start a new one. Well, good luck. Good luck. yeah, it's
Well,
yeah, it was.
I've got a couple of questions. We'll end on like a couple of your favorite films. But on set, who's like either the biggest actor you've been most blown away by working with that was interesting to you, or an actor that, whether they're big or small, that you're really impressed by, like, oh, they're actually a really nice person, or they're actually a better actor than I thought they were, or whatever it was.
Mm,
Because you've worked with quite a few different people.
I did. I had a different answer prepared for this one. I thought you'd ask me like what was my favorite film to work on. Can I answer that instead?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I actually had this prepared.
Yeah, what was your
Sorry, I'll
favorite
do a bit
film
of
you worked on?
a name drop. So for me, and I think it would be maybe good to end on this as well, but like for me, the best experience of my career was working on Werner Herzog's documentary about meteorites. So
Wow.
Oh,
yeah, so it's got Fireball Visitors from Ducker World, and he basically like for 6 months he's travelled the world and visited every meteorite crater in the world. So and I got lucky enough to be part of the India team, and we filmed in Rajasthan in this crater, and I just want to share. Just want to share this experience that I think I'm going to take with me to my grave, and this is what makes moments like this make me remember and realize like why I'm working in film, why is this so special and important. So like the crater itself is this like geological wonder, like about 4 kilometers wide, formed millions of years ago, and like in the middle of it there was it's a temple made from sandstone, and the
wow.
carvings have survived for centuries. Honestly, it was just like so stunning, just like being there. And one, uh, we were mainly shooting there during the day, and then one night we were there to do some time lapse shots. So we arrived, and it was just like me and the lads with like a couple of cameras. So you arrive, but like there's no light pollution, and it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. So when it's dark, it's dark. I've never experienced like pure quintessential darkness like this in my life, I think. So we arrive in a little van, we set up the cameras, and then I mean it's time lapse, so you just like you set it up and then you know just babysit the camera for a couple of hours. So all the lads were like, okay, well let's just go back in the van and I don't know, just go to sleep or whatever. And I was like, do you know what? I'll join you a little bit later. And I remember sitting there like sat on the floor leaning against the temple, this temple, looking up at the skies, and the skies were so starry. I've never seen that like so many stars all at once in my life. I think it felt like
The Milky
I
Way.
don't know. It was incredible. It didn't feel real, and I just felt such humility, I think, in that moment. And I thought, this is what film, like working in film and filmmaking and cinema as an art form is for me. It's not about chasing fame. It's not about the spectacle. It's about having opportunities to stand in a place like that where history and spirituality and science all meet like in one place, and I'm just there trying to just capture a fraction of what it feels like to be like a tiny human inside that. I think I even had like a little cry in there. I was just like, oh, this is so special. But it was just such a wonderful, wonderful experience
That's
that
incredible.
yeah.
Nature is so humbling, though, isn't it? Like,
I
when
know.
you see something so cosmic and beautiful, and you forget that we're on a planet, and you're reminded
Yes,
of kind of Mother Earth and just the universe, and
that's
then
right.
we get so caught up. Interestingly, you mentioned about like egos and things like that. We make our worlds all about us in our own
Yes,
heads and our own concerns and our own worries, and just we're so self obsessed or
yes.
consumed that we forget about when you have that perspective or
When
that
you
kind
zoom
of
out,
peripheral. Yeah, exactly. My God, when you zoom out, we are so lucky, man, and blessed, and the world is beautiful. And like you're saying, to capture moments of life in a lens and you're going to share that with people around the world, and knowing you were leaning against
Yes,
that temple and
yeah,
seeing the
that was
stars and everything.
incredible. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's like I was in the middle of a meteorite crater leaning against this
Wow.
temple that was built tens of thousands of years ago. And oh, it was just
That,
feeling small has never
no,
felt so great.
yeah. Almost Indiana Jones as well, kind of, because of like the temples and the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
architecture.
yeah.
Wow.
So
That's beautiful.
that's your kind of favorite thing about the job you do? It's not the people you meet as such. It's more about the experiences and the travel and the
The
unique
locations.
things you get to see, and obviously the people are part of it. But that must be one of the most
I think
rewarding
it's
parts.
I think yeah, to me it's more I love like storytelling in different forms. And filmmaking, like I just like art, but I think filmmaking is just when done right, it can just create so many different art forms together to make people feel, and without spoon feeding it. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like what makes us different from the animals is that like we can experience emotions. And I mean, to me, like that's one of the best feelings in the world, like feeling things. And
Makes you worship
I
life.
feel like yeah, visual, well, cinema is my favorite emotion, if that makes sense.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, incredible.
That's
Well,
beautiful.
that's a beautiful answer to that.
Yeah. Well, I
Aw,
was going to say that's why I think art is so important, if I'm honest, because so much of the world we get numbed to, and the
yeah,
power of cinema and art and that form that you were saying of storytelling reminds us how to feel sometimes when we may have forgotten how.
yes, exactly. Yay.
And also, I've got all these to hand, by the way. I found a picture for Drew. I'll have to send it to
Ah,
him.
Oh, that's
there
so
we
There's
awesome.
go.
Marina with a unicorn head
That is so
and a
cool.
funky
And the
funky
leggings,
trouser.
there we are.
Yeah, awesome leggings.
But
We
yeah,
don't
I've
an
got a
award
few
for
of
those
those.
leggings. If they don't do
Yeah,
awards for leggings and you
I've
don't
had to
win,
I've had to zoom in. I've not taken a picture of that. I've had to
Oh,
zoom in.
they're the oh yeah, what were they? The
they're
The
cool.
dogs in the that
Oh, it's the
cartoon,
Adventure Time. Adventure Time.
Adventure
Ah,
Time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. Zoom out. I didn't take a picture of your legs. There's other
uh,
things going on.
That's all right.
even your
Oh.
tights tell a story. Do you know what I mean? So I can tell you a storyteller. So,
That's
That
right.
leggings, Drew, not tights, but close enough.
leggings, sorry, leggings.
Well,
But no,
same shit, different smell.
thank you so much for joining us, Marina. I know
Yeah,
you're like you said you're a bit nervous, but that was fantastic and it's
Oh,
really
thanks for
insightful
having
as
me.
well.
I really enjoyed this, actually.
Good, good, good. All right, brilliant. Well, we'll let you go. I know it's late in the evening. Thank you very much for joining us, and
that's awesome.
yeah, we'll catch up soon. I'll let you know when the episode goes out.
Okay, thank you.
Nice one.
All right, cheers. Bye.
This has been Rage Whale. Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you had a whale of a time.
Thank you all for your continued support, and please do check out our other fun episodes with many great and interesting guests. And just to let you know, we're also on YouTube if you want to also watch us. But do give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok, and we'd love a cheeky 5-star rating on here if you had a moment. And if you do want to support us further, we do have merch. The links are here and on our socials. It's ragewhale.tmill.com. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.